You are listening to the Roberta Glass True Crime Report, putting the true back in true crime. From New York City, Roberta Glass is now on the record. Okay, I'm here, not in New York, but in an undisclosed location with my mother, and she has agreed to be a very nice sport. And look at, are you a true crime fan?
Not really, sweetie. No, I'm not.
I would say not in any way. You have almost zero interest in the subject?
I would say that would be correct.
But you agreed to look at 5 of some of the most famous interviews with true crime subjects. With
Only because I love you so much.
You heard that. We're going to start with Diane Downs, who was convicted of murdering her kids because her lover didn't want kids.
Oh, dear.
And she gave this interview before she was ever convicted. And she got pregnant right before her trial from another man, not the lover that she was trying to win back. That didn't work. But here is her interview where she talks about why she got pregnant. Take a listen.
Downs is now expecting another child. She says her pregnancy takes away the feelings of loneliness in prison.
I got pregnant because I miss Krissy and I miss Danny and I miss Cheryl so much. I'm never going to see Cheryl on earth again. And you can't replace children, but you can replace the effect that they give you. And they give me love, they give me satisfaction, they give me stability, they give me a reason to live and a reason to be happy. And that's gone, they took it from me. But children are so easy to conceive.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's all about her and not her children. I mean, she gives her a feeling of stability, but what about her kids? Oh, I don't know. These people really shouldn't have children at all.
I think that's a fair reaction. Gives you the chills. She's like, I'll never meet Cheryl, the one I murdered, on earth anymore.
Oh, dear.
And this is Jeffrey MacDonald, who murdered this is before he was convicted of murdering his whole family. He decided to go on Dick Cavett. Let's take a look at that interview.
Found celebrity. McDonald continued to try his own case in the court of public opinion.
My next guest is Dr. Jeffrey MacDonald.
On December 15th, 1970, McDonald appeared on the popular late-night program, The Dick Cavett Show.
I hope this isn't too painful for you.
Where it became very clear McDonald was fast becoming his own worst enemy.
My wife came home and we had a before-bedtime drink, really, and watched the beginning of a late-night talk show.
He knew how to do it, as we say in the talk show trade. He knew how to handle himself.
Dick Cavett remembers well the night he was face-to-face with McDonald.
His affect is wrong, totally wrong. My affect was, find your wife and kids murdered. And even his answer to that was something like, hey, yeah, isn't that something almost sound like Bob Hope? Very like Bob Hope.
There were people in the Army who wanted a court-martial regardless of any evidence.
I was angry.
You were very critical, in fact, of the Army.
I'm sure I was.
Where are these investigators now who did the original?
Well, most of them have been transferred. It's the Army way of handling things. If someone really fouls up, you either give them a medal or you transfer them.
Watching the show that night, Colette's family was extremely disturbed by McDonald's appearance. Colette's older brother, Robert Stevenson.
All he spoke about was how his rights had been violated. I don't think he once mentioned about, let's get the murderers. My family's been killed. But I remember him grinning like a Cheshire cat.
Oh, my. Well, he's just so pleased with himself. That's my impression, that he thinks he's aced it. And, I don't know. These people have no feeling, no real, genuine feeling. He's
trying to sort of manufacture being normal.
Right. Oh, dear. I don't know. It's hard to.
So you're not a Jeffrey MacDonald supporter?
No, I'm not.
You think he did it?
Yes.
Okay. This is Chris Watts, who was later pled guilty to killing his his pregnant wife and infant children. But this is when his wife went missing. This is a very famous interview.
Okay.
WATTS.
Wow. What's going on right now around your house?
Right now, it's got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent, see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car, or they went somewhere. And right now, it's just like they've been on point. They're going through the house trying to get a scent, and hopefully they can pick something up to where it's going to lead to something.
What happened? Your wife came home. Tell me what's.
She came home from the airport 2 a.m. and I left around 5:15. She was still here, and like about 12:10 in that afternoon, her friend Nicole showed up at the door. Like I had texted Shanann a few times that day, called her, say but she never got back to me. But she wasn't getting back to any of her people as well, and that's what really concerned a lot of people. Is like she's not getting back to her. Like if she doesn't get back to me, that's fine. Like she gets busy during the day. But she didn't get back to her people, which was very concerning. And Nicole called me when she was at the door, and that's when I came home. And then walked in the house, and nothing was vanished. Nothing was here. I mean, she wasn't here. The kids weren't here. Nobody was here.
What's your wife's name?
Shanann, SHANANN.
What's your kids?
Bella and Celeste.
Well, his eyes keep moving back and forth, and he's shifting his position constantly. Very odd.
If you were your son-in-law, what would you think? If this were me and I went missing pregnant, and this were my husband, what would you think if he gave an interview like
you
that?
certainly made a mistake marrying that man. It's so horrible.
Something chilling about him?
Yes, very cold, and
you're screwing up your face.
Oh, I know. I don't like him.
Let's
move on. Oh, he's dreadful.
Okay, nothing to say. You just don't like him. Okay.
No.
Really gives you the creeps. This is Betty Broderick, who killed her husband and his new wife. This is interview with her.
Revenge.
Broderick was the ultimate woman scorned. She made national news when she shot her husband and his new wife. She made network history when Meredith Baxter portrayed her in a TV movie. Now they're running the sequel, and Betty Broderick is talking exclusively to the first major journalist on the case, our Doug Bruckner.
It was all a game, a very well orchestrated game. And in Dan's mind, this was a legal case. And he had to destroy me totally, but I don't know why. I never did anything to him to incur all that hate and wrath.
Betty Broderick still portrays herself as a victim on the eve of another damning docudrama about the murder of her ex-husband Dan and his beautiful young wife Linda. Actress Meredith Baxter will again play Betty Sunday night in another movie of the week about the Broderick case. Betty Broderick was convicted of second-degree murder last year for killing her ex-husband and his new bride with 5 pistol shots in the bedroom of their San Diego mansion. Betty Broderick's been behind bars now for nearly 4 years, since shortly after her conviction, she's been here, about 100 miles south of San Francisco at the Central California Women's Facility. She left her cell to come to the prison's visiting hall, where she gave us this exclusive interview.
Do you feel remorse for what you did, Betty?
I feel such terrible remorse for what we've all been through from 1983. It'll almost be 10 years now. 10 years, I find it so meaningless, what we've all been through. What was the point of it? What was the point of any of this? What was the point of them conducting all this and lying? And I mean, I just never saw the point in it. I didn't know why they felt so compelled to destroy me. The story they were telling and trying to put over on people wasn't the truth.
It doesn't sound like in October 1992 that you're sorry that you did it.
I'm sorry about everything. Sorry about the whole thing. I mean, 2 people are dead that could have had wonderful lives, and I should have been 10 years down the road. 10 years is a long time. To an entirely new life. I mean, we all had so much potential and possibilities. Why was this so destructive of everyone?
Wow. Well, she's certainly putting the blame on them when she killed them. It's very peculiar. I don't know.
She has a whole bunch of feminist supporters who want her out.
Really?
She drove her car into the house through the front door before she killed them, she was like calling them and like harassing them and
And
stalking
it didn't
them.
need to happen, my dear Betty. And you did it. Well, so you're the cause, not them. Oh, my
So
dear.
if you work with prisoners, not murderers, but you work with prisoners.
I did,
teaching them life skills. If Betty were your client, what would you? And she was giving this kind of dialogue.
I would challenge her on her facts and about. You have to come to grips with what you've done and the crime she committed. She's certainly a very passionate woman and very peculiar. She doesn't take responsibility for her actions at all. It's somebody else's fault. Very strange. She would be a very hard case to work with.
You're not volunteering to
No.
go to, I think she's in Connecticut.
In Connecticut? No, not near me, thank goodness. I think she would be very hard to
Maybe she's
deal
in
with.
California. This happened in California. So
Far away.
Yes, yeah.
It's fine. Keep her in jail. She's very odd.
You're not going to join the Free Betty Broderick movement anytime
no,
soon?
she's
Shocking.
so strange.
So the next up is the McCanns, who I think you're familiar with this case. They went on vacation in Portugal.
Oh,
They
yes,
had
I
twins,
remember that. Madeleine McCann.
And she just wandered. She suddenly disappeared from her bed while they dined with friends.
Right.
They left infants in their bed, and Madeleine, who was almost 4, in her bed alone while they dined. They in the hotel room alone while they dined, and they said it was just like eating in your backyard. They didn't mind leading 2 toddlers and a small child alone. Okay, so this is their interview.
Did you kill your daughter?
No, that's an emphatic no. I mean, the ludicrous thing is what's being purported from Portugal is that Madeleine died in the apartment by an accident and we hid her body. Well, when did she have the accident and died? Because the only time she was left unattended was when we were at dinner. So if she died then, how could we have disposed or hidden her body, when there was an immediate threat? It's just nonsense. So, and if she died when we were in the apartment or fell and did, why would we cover that up?
Well, he's certainly justifying himself. Oh, why would you? Was she a difficult child? I think they just threw up their hands and said, we can't cope with this and goodbye. It's horrible. I mean, I don't know.
You don't get a caring parents from
No,
this?
I don't. I get something justifying their actions some deep way. I don't know. That's quite grim. I can't imagine anything worse. Really horrible.
Now I feel badly that I showed you these. These were more of the tamer interviews, Mom.
Oh dear.
So what is in summation? Do you see a pattern between all these people?
I see people that don't take responsibility for their actions. That's the pattern I see.
Glib is what I get.
Yeah, and just not really feeling much of anything. They're people that are cut off from their feelings.
Well, thank you so much for taking a look at these. I know people will be very interested in your horrified reactions. And thanks so much for doing it. It's always a pleasure.
My pleasure, my darling.